All right, so today we're doing some writing. So today we're doing some analytical writing. Our focus will be on structure. If you have, so you're going to need to have a couple of tabs open today. So I would go to your week at a glance, just so you can open the writing about structure. And it's really the second slide that I think is going to help you the most. So the second slide addresses claim, evidence, commentary, and it gives you an exemplar of what it might look like when you're writing about structure. So, for example, with your claim, you want to try to focus on what is the writer doing, why are they doing it that way? Evidence, where in the text do you see this happening? And then commentary, how does this piece of evidence connect back to the why you established in your opening claim? You will have the opportunity to revise. I know that this is the first real writing assignment that we're doing here. And for some of you, I haven't seen how you write analytically yet, so I don't feel like it's fair to be like, oh, nearly one lesson, whatever. So you will have the opportunity to revise. All right, so I want people to not be like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. You may still feel like it's horrible, but you will be able to revise. So having this open may help you. The other thing that you're going to need to have open is your copy of On Photography and your copy of Grunberg's Photojournalism of Artifice and Actuality. So if you want to take a minute and open up those two documents. And then I would close anything that you don't need. Go over your prompt. Okay, so here's your task. Review your annotations and notes as they pertain to Sontag's On Photography and Grunberg's Photojournalism, a blend of artifice and actuality. Then, in a 2-paragraph response, you don't need an introduction or a conclusion. You're only writing analytical paragraphs. Provide a written analysis that addresses the guiding question below. How does the structure of the text impact the author's central message? Things to consider. This is not an essay, however, it's an exercise in formal academic writing. It's expected that your writing is reasonably formal and appropriate to an academic context. This is not necessarily a comparative task, so you can compare if you find a comparison that works for you. It does not have to be comparative, though. Basically, you're saying this is how Sontag does it, this is how Grunberg does it, okay? So you don't need to necessarily embed a discussion of both authors or both texts in a single paragraph. You can literally have one paragraph be about Sontag's text, one paragraph be about Grunberg's text. Does that make sense? Okay. If you need assistance with crafting claims, you can follow this template. So there's a template here for you with an example. Your final writing will consist of 2 paragraphs, 1 paragraph addressing the structure and meaning of On Photography, and 1 paragraph addressing the structure and meaning of Photojournalism, a blend of artifice and actuality. Because this is a relatively short writing assignment, you may consider focusing on a single aspect of structure. For example, you may look at how does Sontag introduce her central idea versus how Grunberg does it. You might look at how does Sontag open her text versus how does Grunberg open his text. Don't try to do too much. Think of this as 1 paragraph, 2 paragraphs that might appear in a longer essay. So I don't want you to get caught up in trying to do everything in 1 paragraph of the text, okay? So you just imagine if this was one part of what was going to be a longer paper, what would that look like? So don't try to do too much with it. We are only scoring on criterion A, which is understanding and interpretation. So how well does the candidate demonstrate an understanding of the text and draw reasoned conclusions from implications in it? And how well are ideas supported by references to the text? So this is all about understanding the text, right? And supporting these ideas with references to the text. So your focus in your writing should be on the central idea, right? Which we talked about, how to find the central idea and how the structure of the text supports that central idea. We're not getting into at this point like diction and imagery and stuff like that. We're saving that for another day. So right now, all I am looking for is your ability to discuss the ideas of the two authors and connect that to meaning and structure. That's it. All right? What questions do you have? Yes.
What time are we going to set home?
Yes, so it's due at midnight. Reason being that it's due tonight at midnight is that we're working towards working under time constraints, which everybody hates. But we've got to get there because by the time you guys finally test, it's a time test. And it's a long time, it's like 2.25 hours or something like that. So you have a long time to do it. But I think just getting used to the time constraints is something, so we'll ease that back before, I'm like, oh, you have 40 minutes. So tonight, other questions? Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Other questions? Okay. Do you have time to work? So in terms of turning this in, just open up a new Google Doc and do it there. Or if you wanted to, you could, did I do this as make a copy for everybody? No, just students can view file. So you can make a copy of this if you want to do it all on the same page, so you have the prompt and this on it as well. It doesn't matter. You can either start it in Google Doc or make a copy of this and do it on this. Okay? All right, if you have questions as you go, please ask. And like I said, don't stress, we will be revising. Did you find the notes, Alex?